a spotlight on our military this morning. A new report says the U.S. could be falling behind its rivals when it comes to naval strength. According to the Congressional Research Service, 40% of the Navy's submarines are out of commission right now. 40%. The report cites a worker shortage and supply chain issues as causes. 18 of the Navy's 49 subs are docked for repairs. Meanwhile, China has the largest fleet with 340 ships and submarines. This all comes as the White House is walking back President Biden's claim that the U.S. is running low on ammunitions. The president's slip-up came Tuesday during an interview at the NATO summit. This following an unexpected policy reversal to send controversial cluster munitions to Ukraine. You see this video of those cluster bombs playing out here. For months, the United States has been providing the country with 155-millimeter rounds. Now, officials say they need other weapons to fill the gap while they ramp up production. To talk about the rumored shortfall, we're joined by retired Lieutenant General Richard Newton. Lieutenant General, good morning to you, sir.
Good morning, Marky. Good to be with you again this morning.
Yeah, you too, as always. Hey, during an interview with CNN on Sunday, I know you watched this. The president said Ukraine is nearly out of ammo. The U.S. stockpile is low. And the White House later clarified the president's statement to NewsNation, saying that the country's leftover ammo is dwindling, but that we do have enough to defend ourselves. So, sir, my question to you, how do you read kind of that back and forth there?
Well, the bottom line is we are facing an ammunition shortage, Marky, as you indicated at the top of the block here. It's not only in the 155-millimeter shells, but it's in missiles and so forth. And so, frankly, we need to increase the pace, if you will, of production of not only these 155-millimeter shells, but other capabilities. And the war in Ukraine is really shedding light in terms of where the United States is in the production of ammunition and other weapon systems and capabilities.
Yeah, so
I think what you're going to see right now is you're going to see a step up in production, not only the 155-millimeter shells, but other capabilities as well. And
so with that being said, what is the play from the commander-in-chief? I mean, should President Biden be announcing an expansion, a new national effort to ramp up weapon, stockpiles here? I mean, what should President Biden do and say?
Well, look, yeah, a couple of things here. By the way, there's a really good Wall Street Journal opinion piece that's rather mainstream in terms of sheds lights on this challenge that the United States faces. And it calls for presidential leadership to, again, put forth an effort to increase the not only the stockpile, but the weapons production itself. That's point one. Point two, Congress can help out here also by authorizing, and it appears that they will in the 2024 authorizations bill that are forthcoming, for what we call multi-year procurements for the producers and the production of these weapons in the commercial and the private sector. That will allow these weapons productions companies to have not just year by year, but multi-year, in order to hire men and women to produce the weapons, in order to increase the aperture, if you will, of the supply chain, and to make sure that not only will they be funded by year, but through multiple years as well. And so it's not just within the Department of Defense. It's not just within procurement. And certainly it's not just within the White House, but it includes Congress. This should be an entire United States effort, in my view.
Right. Yeah, that Wall Street Journal op-ed that you referenced called the shortage a disgrace that needs urgent fixing. The war in Ukraine has officially passed the 500-day mark. No end in sight, obviously. If we keep funneling resources to Ukraine long term, I mean, is America bound to go Winchester here? Does that jeopardize our military strength?
There's a balance here. I don't think as you refer to Winchester, we run out of supplies or we deplete our own stock of weapons. But however, I will tell you that Ukraine is using, for instance, 3,155-millimeter howitzer rounds per day. The Secretary of the Army recently made a statement stating that she said the Army will look to increase 155-millimeter rounds from, say, 7 to 10,000 per month up to 20,000 by the end of this year. And then the goal is to actually produce 70,000 rounds per month starting in 2025. So there's already a call to action now, and I think it's got the right attention. Now we've just got to deliver on this, Marky, because, we don't get a vote in terms of where U.S. national security interests are going to be put in harm's way. We don't get a vote in terms of where we need to send our men and women valiantly into battle and combat. But we do, however, need to make sure that they are both organized, trained, but also, most importantly, resourced with the weapons and certainly with the ammunition they need to frankly, to fight and win our nation's wars.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.